My name is Beyza Koyas. I work in retail banking, and during more than 20 years, I had the chance to learn the sector from different perspectives. First in a startup, then in a retail bank, and finally at the headquarters overseeing several banks. I have so far focused on marketing, strategy, and business transformation, mainly through customer centricity, data, and digital technologies. I started my career in London in one of the first customer experience startups, where I worked for 10 years as a consultant for major British banks. I then joined BNP Paribas in 2008 as marketing director at TEB Retail Banking in Istanbul. I was in charge of product development, value proposition, communication, CRM, data analytics. In 2014, I started to work in BNP Paribas headquarters in Paris, and I was involved in several transformation programs for the group. For example, customer vision, customer advocacy, CRM, and service model. At the beginning of 2022, I joined BNP Paribas Personal Finance, and I have the responsibility of steering the synergies between the group's bank and personal finance entities. About my bank, BNP Paribas is a top bank in the European Union, and it's also a major international banking establishment. We have about 190,000 employees in 65 countries. We have a very solid financial structure. In 2021, our revenues was about 46 billion euros and 9.5 billion in net income. Our return of tangible equities is about 10%, and this is significantly above the 7% average of our European peer group. We have 4 domestic markets in Europe, Belgium, France, Italy, and Luxembourg. And we also deployed our integrated retail banking model elsewhere in Mediterranean, in Turkey, and Eastern Europe. We have heavily invested in digitalizing the bank in depth to improve customer experience and the efficiency of our activities. I will tell you more about those later. I work in personal finance, so I will tell you a bit more about the European consumer credit market so that I can explain better the challenges we are facing. The lending market in Europe is a 1 trillion euro market, and it's mostly concentrated in 5 countries: Germany, UK, France, Italy, and Spain. We are expecting a single-digit growth over the coming 5 years because we are facing headwinds from inflation, from the slowdown of the economy, and we are also expecting increasing credit risk. We are trying to compensate it with rising interest rate, but our funding costs are significantly higher than last year, given the economical situation. We are also faced with non-traditional players. They are growing, even though they currently have a small share of the consumer loan market because they are in the instant lending, especially online platforms, in e-commerce payments. But they are also facing liquidity and market valuation challenges in the current environment. Nevertheless, they are investing heavily in instant lending, and they are able to provide innovative solutions with strong focus on customer experience. In terms of the development in instant payment and e-commerce, the traditional model of payment and lending being separated is heavily challenged. When I say the traditional model, what I'm talking about where the customer browses the store and consider purchasing an item, and they commit to purchase it, and they are concerned, let's say, about affordability, and then they search for a solution, compare the solutions, and they eventually return to the store to confirm the purchase. That model is changing dramatically because the payments and lending are now, if it's online, mostly integrated. So the customer browses online store, adds item to shopping cart, and then they can commit to purchase. And they can actually see the advertised financing option and select 3 or 4 times installments, and they can confirm the purchase. So I think all the traditional banks, they need to invest in their current cash management and payment customer journeys in order to respond to that new model. In 2017, we started to work on our customer purpose. Our customer purpose is to be the trusted companion for and beyond banking of our customers. The words are carefully chosen there. When we say companion, we are making a reference to a long-term relationship with our customers. Obviously, the trust is the key ingredient of the relationship. And the second part of that vision, of that purpose for and beyond banking, makes an allusion to an important switch from product-centric to customer-centric. So not necessarily marketing our products, but responding a customer need, which may require an holistic answer to the need, like a home purchase. It's not just a mortgage, but all the services and products related to that home purchase should be offered to the customer. In terms of customer acquisition, we are lucky to have a very strong customer brand. So through all our channels, whether through our branches or digital channels, we have a constant stream of prospects tapping at our doors. But what matters is actually to match that perception of the brand, the expectations of the customer, with the reality we are offering them. For example, onboarding processes. The simplicity and the speed of the process is very important, but as a bank, we also have quite thorough compliance processes, for example, for Know Your Customer. So it's all about finding the balance between providing the expected level of service to the customer, but making sure that we have enough to cover the compliance-related requirements. In French retail banking, in Fortis, BNP Paribas Fortis in Belgium, we have heavily invested in the onboarding processes, and especially in order to improve the time to yes and time to money for our consumer loan products. Another important thing in customer acquisition is actually to work in digital marketing, especially in the funnel, to follow the prospect all the way through the funnel from the first appearance in our digital channels to the completion, in order to follow them and in order to respond to their needs and to contact proactively the customers who abandon their process for many reasons, whether they found an answer elsewhere or whether the customer journey wasn't fluent enough for them. The use of data is very important. We learn a lot about our own customers in order to identify what creates promotion and detraction. So we constantly analyze the customer feedback, whether it's a structured feedback through our surveys or is unstructured coming from social media, in order to understand in each market, whether it's in France, Italy, or Belgium, what are the customer promotion and detraction drivers. And in our experience, they are very similar with the expectation of prospects that we are actually attracting. So here what counts is to understand that customer expectation. For example, it can be the speed of answer in a particular customer journey, assess the current situation in that country, and distribute that particular customer pain point to the people in charge of solving it and make sure that this is solved. We put in place a very major net promoter system since 2017 in 25 countries. And we have seen that gradually they have improved their positioning in their respective markets. They were countries starting below the market average, and they are now in Europe. We have many leaders of the market in terms of customer advocacy. In terms of retention, I'm going to say the same thing. Everything starts with the understanding of the customer need. The first requirement is what we call the fix the basics category. So it's more about simplicity, speed, and that creates a level of satisfaction, what we call in the Net Promoter System, a level of 5, 6. So these are detractors, but not strong detractors. It may well go to the 7, 8 category where it is a passive customer. They are satisfied enough, but they are not promoters. In order to create promoters, we need to go beyond the expectations. And it's not easy in financial services because most of the time it is seen as a commodity service. So what is very important is actually to prioritize few features of our products and services and implement the required customer journey to create that promotion. And that promotion is closely linked with the retention rate and decreased churn rate of our customers. One of the major promotion drivers is actually the quality of the relationship the customer has with the relationship managers. Whether the relationship manager takes time to understand the customer needs, provide options so that the customer choose the right solution, implement it in a fast way, and then follows up later in this idea of long-term relationship, whether the need is still valid or there is a need to adapt our solution for upcoming new needs. I would like to tell you more first about how we did it. We started by creating customer experience expertise centers in each of our banks. And this is beyond the traditional customer experience department. In what way? First of all, that department is in charge of collecting the voice of customer. So it's a constant stream of customer feedback, whether it's a survey or whether it's social media, analyze to a very granular level in order to identify three categories of customer pain points. Once that customer pain point is identified, we actually send them to the owners of the customer journey so that they can understand the problem, prioritize it, solve it. But it's not enough. They also need to set continuous improvement loops in order to spread this customer experience culture more widely in the organization. So it's not just the job of 10 people, 20 people working in this customer experience center, but this becomes the job that every single person, whether customer facing, back office, in terms of the customer experience improvement. So that's the customer experience center. We also switched to the agile way of working in all of our banks now. What does it mean? So we have tribes who deals with the day-to-day of that products and services fulfillment. If we take, for example, our home tribe, they do everything about our mortgage and related products in terms of the performance of those products and all the operations related to that. But also they deal with the improvement, all this continuous improvement loop fed by the customer feedback. They are in charge of that. And it's not just the marketing department, it is marketing, operations, IT, sometimes compliance, legal, working together to respond to that customer needs. And now in French retail banking, in Belgium, in Italy, all our teams are working in specific tribes responding to a specific customer need. So in summary, in order to improve our customer advocacy at a very large extent, we have to structure in such a way that it will be a reality for our retail banks. One example may be the use of artificial intelligence in order to complete our voice of customer listening practices. So improve our capacity to analyze unstructured feedback. What do I mean by that? When we receive feedback from social media, it's very difficult to identify who is talking to us. And also, obviously, we receive a large amount of feedback. So how can we automatically classify them and identify the pain points? So we are working on that in all geographies. So analysis backed by natural language processing, automatically collecting digital commands, and making a sentiment analysis about whether it's a positive, negative, neutral feedback, for example, extracting the reasons, classifying the sentiments, etc. Depending on that, it's very important to feed them in the same loop of customer experience improvement and merge them with the other type of customer feedback like surveys. We are also using, and we need to do it more and more on that, natural language processing in our telephone contacts with our customers. We invested heavily in our customer contact center. And there we are implementing technologies to analyze conversations, do again a sentiment analysis, attracts the reasons for the sentiment, and share these feedback with the people who need that feedback the most. It's first the customer journey tribes. They are the ones who can act on it, but also the customer-facing relationship managers who are in touch with the customer on a daily basis so that they can solve the problems in a faster way.